Guangdong Province, China. An unprecedented deluge has plunged one of the country's most important economic centers into a state of emergency. The relentless downpour has triggered catastrophic flash floods, sweeping away both urban and rural areas. Rainfall far exceeded seasonal averages, pushing rivers to record levels within living memory. Hundreds of thousands of residents were forced into urgent evacuation, while concerns over the safety of vital hydropower dams continue to escalate. At least 3 people have been confirmed dead in neighboring Hunan province, which is also struggling with historic floods. In Guangdong itself, the full toll of casualties and damage has yet to be fully assessed as the situation continues to unfold. The immediate cause of this disaster is the annual East Asian monsoon, but this year it has been supercharged by the undeniable effects of climate change. The torrential rainfall has created what is being described as a flood of the century, submerging entire neighborhoods. Images and videos shared online reveal vast city blocks swallowed by murky floodwaters, cars swept away by raging currents, and residents climbing to rooftops or upper floors to survive. The floods came so suddenly and violently that many families had no time to gather belongings, escaping only with what they could carry. Authorities in China are racing against time to secure major dams. Although false rumors of dam collapses have spread, the reality is that several reservoirs have exceeded warning levels and were forced to release water through spillways. While these emergency discharges reduced the immediate risk of collapse, they also worsened flooding downstream, inflicting further devastation on communities. The city of Zhaoqing has been among the hardest hit. The Suijiang River surged to a record 55 meters, far above its warning level. Streets turned into torrents, sweeping through ground floors of buildings, causing widespread blackouts, and plunging more than 100,000 households into darkness. In one county alone, over 300,000 people have been affected, with at least 70,000 relocated to safer areas. A massive emergency response is underway. The central government has allocated initial relief funds, while rescue teams work around the clock in inflatable boats to deliver food, clean water, and evacuate stranded residents. These operations are perilous, as swift currents and submerged debris pose deadly risks to rescuers. Thousands of displaced residents now find themselves in temporary shelters set up in schools and community centers. They face an uncertain future, having lost their homes, livelihoods, and in some cases, everything they owned. The most urgent needs are clean drinking water, food, and medical supplies. Yet the psychological scars from this disaster will linger far beyond the floodwaters. The economic toll is also staggering. Vast farmlands have been inundated, crops destroyed, and food security threatened. Factories and logistics hubs have been crippled, disrupting national and global supply chains. In one county, direct economic losses have already climbed into tens of millions of US dollars, a figure expected to rise as full assessments are made.
علاية سماي طوفان ما شاء الله تبارك.
The root causes go beyond extreme rainfall. Decades of unchecked urbanization across the Pearl River Delta have turned the land into a concrete jungle, stripping away its natural ability to absorb water. Outdated flood control infrastructure, built for a different era, is no match for the extreme weather of the 21st century, creating the perfect conditions for catastrophic flooding.
多吓人呐！老天爷，你看看啊！
Weather forecasts warn of further heavy rains in the coming days, raising the threat of additional flooding and landslides across already saturated terrain. The Great Flood of 2025 in Guangdong is a stark warning of how vulnerable modern society has become to the intensifying impacts of climate change.
Increíble cuánta agua está cayendo aquí.
For now, the immediate priority is saving lives and providing urgent aid. But in the long term, China, alongside many nations worldwide, must rethink urban planning, disaster preparedness, and infrastructure resilience to withstand an era of extreme weather. If you found this report informative, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss timely updates on weather events delivered with clarity and accuracy. Some of the images shown in this video are for illustration purposes only and may not fully reflect the actual events described. Stay tuned and stay safe.
Ya Allah ya Tuhan. Ya Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
For many years, wildfires have remained a recurring environmental challenge in several regions of China, particularly in provinces with vast forest areas and complex mountainous terrain. One of the most heavily affected places is Yunnan Province. Located in the southwest of the country, Yunnan is renowned for its rich biodiversity and expansive forests. Yet these very treasures also make the province highly vulnerable to the threat of wildfires. Highland plateaus, dry seasonal winds, and coniferous ecosystems create conditions where fires can ignite and spread rapidly if not strictly controlled. Forests in Yunnan not only regulate water resources, preserve soils, and safeguard biodiversity, but also act as vital carbon sinks, helping to mitigate climate change. At the same time, they provide livelihoods for millions of people who depend on forestry, agriculture, and tourism. However, resinous trees such as pine and fir are extremely flammable during the dry season. When droughts last for weeks, vegetation dries out and becomes a massive fuel source for fire. While lightning can spark wildfires, in reality most incidents are caused by human activity. In rural areas, traditional slash-and-burn farming practices, post-harvest burning, or the clearing of weeds by fire are still common. Just a single ember out of control can grow into a large blaze within hours. Outdoor cooking, cultural practices, or even a carelessly discarded cigarette can also trigger disaster. As urban expansion pushes closer to forest areas and tourism grows in mountainous regions, the risks of human-caused fires rise dramatically. The consequences are devastating. Large swaths of forest are reduced to ash, while habitats for rare and endangered species are destroyed. Yunnan, recognized as one of China's biodiversity hotspots, faces ecological fragmentation, leaving wildlife without food or shelter. After a fire, soil loses its protective cover, making it highly vulnerable to erosion and landslides. Heavy rains can wash loose soil and debris into rivers, polluting waters relied upon by millions for drinking, farming, and hydropower. Beyond the environment, wildfires directly threaten human lives. Villages near forest zones are often forced into emergency evacuations. Crops and farmland are burned. Roads and power lines are damaged. Smoke can travel tens or even hundreds of kilometers, worsening air quality and causing respiratory problems for millions. Tourism, a key economic sector in Yunnan, also suffers when natural landscapes are destroyed and safety is compromised. To address these threats, Yunnan's authorities have strengthened prevention, monitoring, and response measures. Community education programs raise awareness among residents living near forests. Villages are equipped with basic firefighting tools and given regular training. Professional firefighting brigades operate at both local and provincial levels. Modern technologies, including satellites, drones, and remote sensors, are used to detect fires early, even in remote mountain areas. Upgraded communication systems ensure that warnings reach at-risk communities quickly. However, no matter how thorough prevention may be, wildfires cannot be eliminated entirely. When one breaks out, rapid response is crucial, yet the rugged mountains often make it extremely difficult for crews to reach the fire. Helicopters and planes are sometimes deployed to drop water or fire retardants, but terrain and weather limit their effectiveness. As a result, wildfire control usually requires close cooperation between professionals, forestry workers, and local residents. Together, they cut fire breaks, use controlled burns, and carefully track wind patterns to contain the blaze. Looking ahead, wildfire management in Yunnan must balance conservation, rural development, and the escalating pressures of climate change. Longer, harsher dry seasons have already increased the risks of fire. At the same time, Yunnan's forests remain critical for carbon storage and biodiversity preservation, not only nationally but globally. Protecting forests, therefore, is not only about preserving natural beauty but also about protecting people, culture, and social stability. To achieve this, stricter enforcement of fire use regulations is needed, along with stronger community awareness and a combination of modern technology and traditional practices. Only then can Yunnan build a sustainable, resilient forest system capable of withstanding the challenges of time and a changing climate. Wildfires will undoubtedly remain a recurring threat in Yunnan. Yet with the right investments in prevention, rapid response, and ecological restoration, their impact can be reduced, helping safeguard the environment and the future of generations to come. Thank you for following this report. If you found this information useful, please share it, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with the latest stories on nature and global environmental challenges. Your support and engagement help raise awareness, and together, we can all play a part in protecting our planet.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Natural disasters are not just numbers or fleeting image, but real pains and losses that affect millions of people around the world. We hope that through this content, we can foster more empathy, greater awareness, and encourage all of us to take actions, even in small ways, to protect the environment, reduce risk, and support those who are most severely affected by the natural impact. If you find this message valuable, please don't forget to share this to spread the spirit to solidarity. Once again, our deepest gratitude, and we will see you in the next video.